Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Assad.
Hi, Angela. We are unpacking Don't Get Caught Out, the complete checklist for choosing a local service provider you can actually trust today, and tying it back to the wider Cost Saver ecosystem, including tools like Cost Saver Toolbox and Trusted Local Providers tool, so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
Okay, so Assad, I need to vent for a second. Last week, my sister had this absolute nightmare with a plumber who basically,
Oh no, what happened?
well, she found him on Google, right? First result, decent-looking website. Guy shows up, quotes her a figure for what should have been a simple job, and then 3 days later, she's out a lot more money, and the leak is actually worse.
Angela, sadly, that's so common. I mean, the home improvement sector, it's honestly one of the most complained about industries in the whole UK.
Really?
Yeah, Citizens Advice handled over 130,000 complaints just in 2024. And the average person who gets caught out, they're losing around £2,500 to these rogue traders.
Wait, 2,500 pounds? That's a family holiday.
Exactly. And look, the frustrating thing is, it's actually pretty preventable if you just know what to check for. We've put together this checklist that takes, maybe 30 minutes to work through properly?
30 minutes. Okay. So, where do we even. I mean, when your boiler's broken and it's freezing, you're not exactly thinking clearly, are you?
Oh, no, you're really not. But that's exactly when people make expensive mistakes. So the absolute first thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is checking their credentials and insurance.
Right, but isn't that awkward? Like, hi, nice to meet you. Can I see your paperwork, please?
You know what? Any legitimate tradesperson expects it. They'll have it ready. It's the cowboys who get weird about it. Like if you're hiring a gas engineer, Angela, they must be on the gas safe register. Not should be, must be. It's actually illegal otherwise.
Illegal?
Yeah, and it invalidates your home insurance if something goes wrong. I mean, imagine you save 50 quid on a boiler service and then your insurance won't pay out when there's a problem. It's just not worth it.
Oh my God, no, absolutely not worth it.
For electricians, they need to be with NICIC or NAPIT or one of those schemes. And honestly, just ask them to email you their insurance certificate before they start. If they hesitate or make excuses,
Red flag.
massive red flag.
Okay, so we've checked they're legit. What about reviews? Because I feel like everyone's got 5 stars these days.
Oh, don't get me started on fake reviews. Look, here's the thing. Don't just check one site. Cross-reference Google, Trustpilot, maybe Checkatrade, and actually read them. Don't just look at the stars.
What do you mean?
Well, if you see 3 reviews all posted the same week saying, "Great service, would recommend," that's suspicious. But if someone writes, "Jim replaced our boiler in February, was here for 2 days, cleaned up properly, and the heated towel rail he suggested was a brilliant addition," that's real, you know?
Yeah, the details matter.
And here's something people miss. Look at how they respond to bad reviews. Everyone gets a complaint eventually. Do they apologize and explain what they did to fix it, or do they get defensive and blame the customer?
Oh, that's clever. I hadn't thought about that. So once we've stalked their reviews, what about the actual quote?
Right, so never, ever accept a verbal quote for anything significant. Get it in writing, and it needs to break down labor and materials separately.
Why separately?
Because otherwise they quote you a total, then suddenly the materials cost way more than expected, and you're stuck. If you can see materials are one figure and labor is another, you can actually check if those material costs are reasonable.
Makes sense. And payment? I'm guessing we shouldn't hand over all the cash up front.
God, no, never. I mean, a deposit for materials on a big job? Sure, that's normal. But paying everything before they've even started? You've got zero leverage if they just disappear.
Or do a rubbish job.
Exactly. For bigger projects, you want staged payments, like a portion to start, another portion at this milestone, and so on. It protects both of you, really.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, everyone always says get 3 quotes. But honestly, Assad, who has time for that?
I know. But here's the thing. It's not just about finding the cheapest. It's about spotting the outliers. We had this case. Sarah from Birmingham needed her boiler replaced.
Mm-hmm.
She gets 3 quotes, 2,400, 2,600, and then 1,500,
Oh, that's a big difference.
right? So she asked the cheap guy to explain. Turns out he wasn't planning to include a magnetic filter, wasn't going to flush the system properly, basically cutting every corner possible.
So she went with.
The middle one, yeah. And 3 years later, her system's still running perfectly. That $900 she saved by not going cheap probably saved her hundreds more in repairs by now.
It's that whole buy cheap, buy twice thing, isn't it?
Exactly. Though equally, the most expensive isn't always the best either. Some people just charge more because they can.
Right. What about guarantees? Like, what happens after they've left and you realize something's not quite right?
Oh, this is crucial. Good tradespeople stand behind their work, right? For most jobs, you want at least a 12-month guarantee. For specialist stuff, damp proofing, roofing, could be 5, even 10 years.
And if they won't give you a guarantee?
Walk away, honestly. Also ask about aftercare. How do you contact them if there's a problem? Because we've all heard stories about tradespeople who are super responsive before they get paid and then just vanish.
Yeah, suddenly their phone's always off.
Exactly. Oh, and check if they're part of a dispute resolution scheme. The Chartered Trading Standards Institute has approved ones. It means if things go really wrong, you don't have to go to court.
That's actually really reassuring. But Assad, this all sounds like a lot of work, especially if you're in a panic because, water's pouring through your ceiling or whatever.
I mean, even in an emergency, checking gas safe registration takes literally 60 seconds online. Asking to see insurance takes another 30 seconds. That's it. That's 90 seconds that could save you thousands.
When you put it like that.
And look, if you want to make it even easier, use a trusted directory to start with. We've got one actually, our Trusted Local Providers tool. They've already done basic vetting, so you're not starting from scratch.
So you're narrowing down the pool to people who are at least somewhat legitimate?
Exactly. You still do your own checks, but you're starting from a much better position than just Googling randomly at midnight when your boiler's died.
Been there. Okay, but I have to ask, won't good tradespeople be offended if you're asking for all this stuff? Like, show me your insurance, give me references.
You know what? The good ones expect it. They respect it, actually. They've got folders ready with all their certificates, references, photos of previous work. It's the dodgy ones who get defensive.
That's a really good point.
A professional tradesperson wants you to feel confident hiring them. They know that a customer who's done their homework is going to be a better client, clear about what they want, realistic about costs.
Less likely to freak out halfway through.
Exactly. It works both ways.
So if someone's listening to this thinking, okay, I need to find an electrician next week, what's the absolute first thing they should do?
Bookmark the Gas Safe Register website. Even if you don't need a gas engineer right now, just have it ready. And then, when you do any tradesperson, take literally 30 minutes to run through the checklist. Check credentials, read reviews properly, get written quotes, never pay upfront in full.
Ask about guarantees?
Ask about guarantees, yeah. And honestly, start with a vetted directory if you can. It takes so much stress out of the process.
You know what's funny? We spend hours researching a toaster on Amazon, reading every review, comparing features, but then we'll hire someone to do significant work on our house based on a nice sounding phone call.
Oh my God, that's so true. It's completely backwards, isn't it?
It really is. I think it's because the toaster feels like a choice, but the broken boiler feels like an emergency, so we just panic.
Which is exactly what the cowboys count on, honestly. They know you're vulnerable, you're stressed, you just want it fixed. Look, the checklist we've talked about, it's not complicated. It's just being systematic about
Right. And 30 minutes now versus potentially weeks of stress and thousands of pounds later?
no contest, really.
Assad, this has been, I feel like I should print this out and stick it on my fridge or something.
Do it. Honestly, do it. Because when that emergency hits, you won't be thinking straight. Having a checklist ready means you don't have to.
That's brilliant advice. Thank you so much for breaking all this down. I think my sister could have used this last week.
Well, at least she knows for next time. And that's the thing. Once you know what to look for, you never forget it. It becomes second nature.
Like checking the gas safe register?
Exactly. 60 seconds. Could save you thousands. Can't say it enough, really.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's everything covered. Stay safe out there, everyone, and don't let the cowboys get you.
Yeah, exactly. You've got this.
Quick side note, this guide connects with other cost saver blogs, especially Home Insulation ROI Guide, free ways to reduce your energy bills this winter, and how weather predictions can help you manage your energy costs.
Exactly. And reading those together gives you a fuller picture of safety, energy costs, and long-term affordability before you choose a postcode.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like Cost Saver Toolbox and Trusted Local Providers tool right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include Gas Safe Register, Check and Engineer, and Federation of Master Builders, Find a Builder, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone house hunting so they make safer and smarter money decisions.
Your next step is simple. Try Cost Saver Toolbox, then read Home Installation ROI Guide and use both together before committing to a move.